I've audited hundreds of sales orgs as a consultant, but before that, I held the bag myself. I inherited a broken 85 rep team, went from dead last to number one, and hit President's Club and hit my number 4 consecutive years as an executive leader. Now, I see the same revenue killing mistakes everywhere, and most CROs have no idea that they're actually making them. Look, if you're a CRO or a sales VP watching or listening to this, I know exactly what you're going through. You're lying awake at 3 a.m. doing pipeline math that doesn't add up. You're thinking, if we miss this quarter, this board meeting is going to be an absolute bloodbath. You're spending millions on sales salaries, tools, and training, yet you still can't get predictable forecasting. Your pipeline reports read like creative writing exercises instead of predictive analytics. Here's a brutal truth from someone who's audited hundreds of companies. Most revenue problems aren't what you think they are. And here's the thing. I've been on both sides of this. As a sales leader, I know what it's like when your quarterly number feels like a boulder rolling towards you. I felt that 3 a.m. panic where you're calculating pipeline math that doesn't add up and your blood pressure starts to rise. But I also know what it takes to build a revenue machine that actually works. Systems that scale, processes that stick, results that compound. And so today, I'll break down the 5 revenue killer mistakes I see in almost every diagnostic, and more importantly, how to actually fix them. So mistake number 1, you jump straight to sales training without diagnosing the real problem. I literally just got a text from a chief of staff. His company spent over $50,000 implementing a sales methodology from a very well-known company. 2 months later, they're firing the CRO. Why? Because they solved a problem that didn't exist. Look, I've seen companies spend well over 6 figures on training when the real problem was the wrong people, broken leadership processes, or perhaps even a product market fit issue. Training doesn't fix those. So here's what you need to do instead. Run a diagnostic first. So for instance, I was working with a $40 million company. They wanted me to come and do training. And I said, hold up, let me diagnose first. And it turns out they didn't need any sales training. They just had 0 sales leadership processes in place. No one-on-ones, no pipeline reviews, no coaching structure. So instead, we fixed the leadership systems first. And here's the wild part. Revenue improved by over 30% without handling and working with a single rep. The bottom line is you can't solve what you don't understand. Stop throwing training at symptoms and start diagnosing the disease. Mistake number 2, your frontline sales leaders are doing pipeline inspection instead of deal inspection. And you might be asking, what do you actually mean? Well, they're asking questions like, hey, how many calls did you make? Instead of, walk me through your last discovery call. I mean, I audited a 150 rep team recently, and every manager could tell me all the activity metrics, but nobody could tell me why the deals were stalling out in discovery. And here's a brutal reality. Pipeline inspection tells you what happened. Deal inspection tells you what's going to happen. Your frontline leaders should be living in your reps' deals, not just the numbers, the actual conversations, the real objections, the specific challenges. I had one manager start listening to call recordings with his reps, just 30 minutes a week per rep. Deal velocity increased over 40% in just 2 months. Why? Because he stopped being a scorekeeper managing just numbers and started being an actual coach. The reality is your forecasts aren't off because of activity. They're off because your frontline leaders don't know what's really actually happening in your deals, in your reps pipeline. Mistake number 3, you're confusing your top performers with scalable process. I call this the dangerous myth of the high performing rep. And here's what happens. The top rep, the best rep, closes like everything. And leadership says, hey, let's replicate what Sarah does. So you try to build processes around what Sarah's approach is. But here's the problem. Sarah succeeds in spite of your process, not because of this. You know, I saw this at a $60 million a year company. Their number 1 rep had like an insane 90% close rate. Everyone wanted to copy that person. But when we dug deeper, We found he was succeeding because he had relationships from his previous company. His process was calling old friends. And you can't scale relationships. You can't systemize charisma. And you definitely can't train luck. Your process should work for your 20th best rep, not just your top 3. When I built my team, we went from 20 reps to 85 reps pretty much overnight. If I just built processes just around my top performers, 60 of those reps would have completely failed. So instead, we built boring, repeatable systems that anyone could execute. It became a factory where we brought reps in, put them through, and they came out awesome. Your 20th best rep hitting quota is more valuable than your number 1 rep being a superstar. This is how you raise your overall average rep productivity. Mistake number 4, you're treating revenue operations like IT support instead of strategic intelligence. Most CROs and sales VPs use RevOps just like generate reports. That's it. Hey, can you pull last quarter's numbers? That's like hiring a data scientist to make PowerPoints. Your RevOps team should be your early warning system. They should spot a conversion decay before it hits your forecast. They should identify process breakdowns before deals start slipping. I worked with a company where RevOps knows discovery demo conversions dropped 15% over the last 3 months. Now, most execs would miss this until the quarter ends badly. And we traced it back to 2 AEs that were new who were just demoing too early. Fix it in 2 weeks, save the quarter. So here's what your RevOps should really be doing. Conversion audits, process adherence tracking, leading indicator analysis, behavioral pattern recognition. Stop asking them, what happened last quarter? Start asking, what's going to happen next quarter? Your RevOps team isn't there to explain your numbers. They're here to actually help you predict them. Mistake number 5. This is a common one. You're building culture around activities instead of outcomes. And I see this everywhere. Salesforce is a giant activity board, 200 calls this week, the most emails sent. Well, you're celebrating being busy instead of being effective. When I took over the 85 rep org, the previous leaders had like activity contests, like the top dollar, most calls made, most meetings booked. And the result, lots of activity, but terrible actual results. So I changed everything. We started to celebrate closed deals, pipeline advancement, actual revenue impact. But here's the key. We celebrate the behavior that drove those outcomes, not random activities. So for instance, Sarah advanced 3 stall deals this week by asking better qualification questions. That's what we celebrate. Your reps will optimize for whatever you measure. If you measure calls, they'll make more calls. If you measure outcomes, they'll focus on results. The most dangerous phrase is, at least they're making the calls and doing the activity. Activity without purpose is just very expensive motion. Look, if you're recognizing your company is making these mistakes, don't panic. Every exec makes them. The difference is what you do next. And here's the truth. You can't fix what you can't see. And most revenue problems are invisible until they destroy your quarter. The companies scale from 10 million to 100 million to billion plus and beyond. They don't just do more of the same. They build different systems entirely. Systems over stars. Process over personalities. Predictability over panic. When I was building my teams, we didn't just hit quota. We knew exactly why we hit quota. And more importantly, we knew how to do it again. That's the difference between revenue theater and revenue predictability. Now, if you're watching or listening to this and you're not sure how to diagnose the true root cause of revenue leaks, head to the description below and grab the exact 27-page playbook for free on how to diagnose and solve your biggest constraints. Or if you'd like our help to help implement this, make sure to book a call below. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you in the next episode.